Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Late Bloomer coming at you with my review for Furiosa. So, I went and watched it, and I can definitely say that it is definitely not what I was expecting. Obviously, it's a prequel to George Miller's Fury Road. It came out almost 10 years ago. And I would have to say that in reality, I wish that it had come out a little bit earlier. Granted, I know there was a lot of controversy going on between the studio and George Miller and contract issues and being paid. And so I know that it kind of got put on the back burner. And then you had COVID that kind of delayed the film. But I don't know what happened in between that. But all I can say is that there are definitely some things that are missing in this movie. Um, One of the things I will talk about is visuals. Um, There are times where it looks really good, and there are times where it looked terrible. There are times where it's fast forwarding, or like it's going at like a faster speed than regular speed, at like 1.5 maybe or something like that. And I know that's probably a directorial choice, but I didn't like the choice. It made it look very cheap. It made it look almost like it was trying to hide bad CGI. I don't know what it was trying to do. It didn't look good. Um, the music, one of the strongest factors in Fury Road, was almost non-existent in this movie. I just kept looking for a really good theme during the scenes that I was watching, and there was nothing there that really brought it up. It just kind of was really just always like a very even keeled score, and that was really disappointing because honestly, Fury Road, everything is accentuated by the music, and it made the movie even better than it already was. um I think one of the things that I really didn't like was, obviously it's a prequel, so it's supposed to be telling a story of like a character, that's already been established in Furiosa. But one of the things that I started thinking about later on was, did it answer any of the questions that a lot of people had about Furiosa? Like, what happened to the Greenland? Like, how did it get destroyed? Was it just something that happened over time? Was there an actual attack on the Greenland? Like we never, or the Green Place, I should say the Green Place. We never find that out, honestly, and that was super disappointing because that's a big part of Furiosa's story, is getting back to the Green Place and even taking the women in Fury Road to the Green Place. Um, I mean, we find out what happens to her arm, and it's kind of cool how that happens, but it's also a little bit lame because it's more of a, they really don't show you. So obviously she's in a car chase with Dementis, Chris Hemsworth's character, and we'll talk more about him and characters later on. But they get into a car chase, and obviously he kind of pulls up next to her while her arm is out while she's trying to shoot at him, and it basically breaks her arm. It kind of almost shreds her arm, but her arm is still attached. And she has a love interest or someone that she's really close friends with at that point. And so he's attached to a car, basically, that's being driven in a circle to the point of him being dragged to death. And she's basically having to sit there and watch, or be hung there in place to watch, hung by that arm. But at that point, you're actually looking at Dementis and his viewpoint, and he's like on the other side of the truck. He can't see what's happening, and then all of a sudden, someone says that she's gone. And he goes back to the truck where she's hanging, and all that's left is her arm. So you really don't actually see how she escapes. Obviously, you can assume how she escapes. She rips her body from her arm, but it would have been really cool to actually see that. It, so I mean, in the moment, it seems cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I feel like that would have been very painful. I mean, we've seen 127 hours. We saw what it's like for someone to, cut their arm off. And there's a lot of other bikers around. How do you not see that? How does no one notice that she's doing this? So she's got to be the most badass character I've ever seen, to not scream, to be very silent about it, to be very stealth about ripping her own arm off, or detaching her own arm. So yeah, that happened, and it's more of like a I would have rather had them show than tell, but it was more tell than show at that point. You just have to like turn your mind off and say, okay, that happened. Um, Another thing that really, really bugged me as far as story goes is, when she's a kid and she gets captured by Dementis's group, she essentially is with him for a time. I wish that they would have done a little bit more character or relationship development between those two to show the hate that she has for him. But they don't really dive too deep into that. And so there comes a point where Dementis's character gets in contact with Immortan Joe's character, and Morton Joe fancies her immediately, even though she's a girl. But he sees like the potential for her to be one of his wives, and so he basically in a compromise agreement takes her. Well, we know Immortan Joe's character and how that's been established and how he's been established, and he's been established as someone that will not let anything go that he feels like belongs to him. So when she disappears or when she gets away, that's it. Nothing's ever brought up about it again. And Morton Joe's not furious. He's not looking for her. She's just off the face of the planet, and it just seems to be okay. And but the thing is, she doesn't actually escape. She just ends up becoming a war boy and rising in the ranks. And at some point in time, she's out in the open for everyone to see. So she's very attractive still. And so to me, it's crazy that Immortan Joe never connects the two things and says, hey, I've been looking for you for all these years now. And look, you're all grown up now. Now you're going to be one of my wives. None of that ever happens. And she is working for Immortan Joe by this point. So it's just not, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, again, where you have to turn your brain off and say, okay, that happened. We're not going to do anything, to pay this off that we've established off early in the movie. Okay, cool, whatever. And then you have the 40-day war between Dementis and Immortan Joe's armies, and they do that in a montage. I feel like that actually should have probably been the main story, is the war between Dementis and Immortan Joe and her caught in the middle, and that be the movie, not another couple of chase scenes with trucks and bikers and all these other things that were, I'm sorry, done better in Fury Road. I'm not saying that they were done poorly in this movie, but I don't feel like they were done as well. And honestly, I'm sorry, like the air like the air machines, they did not hit home for me. Like, we live in a post-apocalyptic world. And I know that they've had flying machines in other Mad Max movies before, but it's just, man, like, I just couldn't. It's been like one machine, and now we have dozens of them, and that fight scene just went on way too long. At one point, I'm like, we're still in this fight sequence, in this chase sequence, and it was just over long. I mean, the movie is over long. The movie is 2.5 hours compared to Fury Road's less than 2 hour movie. So we got a movie that does the same things, but not as good as the last movie we watched. And I'll prove it. Tell me why. And I've never seen this before. And someone might have to tell me in the comments section if they've ever seen something like this before. I've never seen a movie play the next movie's credit scenes. So literally at the end of this movie, Furiosa, they play Mad Max Fury Road in the end credits. From beginning to end, snippets throughout the entire credit sequence. It's almost like you didn't have faith in your own movie. Otherwise, why would you do it? Because you would think that if you haven't seen Fury Road at this point, now you'd want to watch Fury Road. But now it's like, well, I don't really need to watch Fury Road now because I just watched it in the end credits. So it was just a really weird directorial choice, and I just didn't get it. I just feel like the movie, which is in 5 chapters, by the way, felt very disjointed. And it's like George Miller, just didn't have as much of a understanding of what he wanted to accomplish in this film versus Fury Road. And I'm sorry, I have to compare this to Fury Road because it is a direct prequel to Fury Road. So it's got to make sense. So we'll go now to the place where I feel like is the strongest of this movie, and it's the acting. I feel like Anya Taylor-Joy does an incredible job as Furiosa. I don't know what she was doing, but she basically was in her bag with when it came to the voice. Like she made sure that she sounded just like Charlize Theron. She did a great job. Like I almost couldn't tell the difference sometimes when she was saying stuff like "Remember me." Like she sounded just like Charlize Theron. I know she probably did it purposefully because she wanted some continuity, and she did an amazing job. Amazing job. A for her, man. Chris Hemsworth as Dementis, fantastic job. I love his character. I love his acting. I don't think that Chris Hemsworth gets enough recognition for his acting chops. And it's probably because of the Marvel movies. But honestly, if you go and watch his catalog of movies, you will find out very quickly, if you don't know already, that Chris Hemsworth is a great actor. A great actor. And I hope one day he gets an Oscar because he deserves it. He has amazing range. I feel like they did a fantastic job in their relationship with each other. I wish that there would have been more. I really wish that there would have been more relationship development between the two. I really wish that they would have built up the hatred that she had for him. I mean, we know why she hates him because he killed her mother in the beginning of the movie. But I really wish that they would have like continued to build up this. I wish that she would have been with him for longer and maybe even tried to have gotten away from him a couple more times, or like maybe he be, very torturing to her. I don't know. Like there just needed to be more development, and there just wasn't. And I just feel like overall, this movie is not a movie that I would recommend for theaters. I would only recommend you go watch it in theaters because of the spectacle of it all. Because it's a beautiful movie to watch in theaters. The sound, you're not going to get anything like that from home. Maybe unless you have like an amazing home theater. But I mean, just seeing it in IMAX, hearing the sounds, seeing the visuals, seeing the action sequences, they're amazing. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get anything better than that probably, this year, except for like Doom 2, which to me is still the best movie of the year. Um, but if we're talking about how much you're paying to see this movie, you absolutely can watch this at home. You can wait till it comes out because in reality, I would almost say I'm the kind of person that would recommend a worse movie and then the better movie. So I'm sorry, like if you've never even seen Fury Road yet, you should watch this movie first, and then you should watch Fury Road, and or you should watch the first 1, 2, 3 of Mad Max, and then watch this, and then watch Fury Road. Because to watch Fury Road and then to come watch this, I feel like it leaves a bad taste in your mouth because you've seen this movie, but you've seen it done better. And you saw it 10 years ago, and that which is even more incredible. That Fury Road to me still stands up as the best movie visually. The musicality of the movie, the acting, everything, the story, the characters, everything. It was just like George Miller blew his load on Fury Road, and he had nothing else left. I know that we're supposed to be getting another Mad Max movie, and it's going to be about Mad Max. There was like a cameo in this movie with what people are believing was Mad Max when he kind of grabbed her when she was unconscious at one point in the movie and kind of like brought her back to health. But you don't know it's Mad Max, and you don't, there's no like conversation between them. You just kind of see him, you see the car, and you see him grab her, and you kind of assume that, oh, this is like them kind of being like, oh, well, there's Mad Max, he's around, and they've encountered each other before. They just don't know that they've encountered each other before, which is really lame, but it is what it is. Yeah, turn your brain off. Yeah, that happened. So if I had to actually rate this movie, I would rate it a B plus at best. It's not an A to me. I don't know. You're not gonna get an A from me for this movie. I think it lacked too much direction for what it was. It was too long for its own good, and I think that I'm ready for the next one, and hopefully, and I'm still on board. I love Mad Max. Like ever since I started watching Mad Max, I love like the franchise. Um, I don't think it's as great as a franchise as everyone tries to make it out to be, but Fury Road made it to me a legit franchise that I will continue to watch until it's done. Um, I think I like Mad Max too. Um, but yeah, I'm ready for the next one. And immediately I kind of wanted to cleanse my palate and watch Fury Road. But I didn't have to because I watched the end credits. So, anyhow, that's my opinion. If you disagree, uh, let me know in the comment section. If you did agree, leave a comment in the comment section. If you like the video, leave a like. If you're not subscribed and you want to see more, subscribe. And until next time, peace out, YouTube.